I'm Doug Narby. I'm from Eunice, Louisiana now, originally from Western New York. I grew up 15 minutes from Watkins Glen Racetrack. This is a 1997 M3 sedan. One of three that I own. I've got a black coupe, blue 98 sedan that's identical to this, that's prepped as a race car. These are real solid, 6-cylinder powered, good platform for racing, good platform for a fun, fast daily driver. I bought this one as a family car, so it'll probably stay mostly stock. But I've been swapping a lot of parts out of the 99 came apart on the racetrack, so it's got some parts in it that I'm not using now. And I swapped like the steering wheel and just comfort and convenience stuff, make it look a little prettier. But we'll see. It'll stay fairly stock as long as my wife's driving it.
What's your fascination with the M3?
They're cheap. They're just an incredible amount of car for the money. I mean, when they came out, they listed for $50,000 or $60,000 off the showroom floor. They were getting like $10,000 dealer premiums back in the 90s. And now you can pick them up. You can pick up a nice M3 for $10,000 or less, and you can build a solid race prep car for $12,000 or $15,000. And they're just a lot of car for the money. And as far as if you're not racing them as daily drivers, they're great. You can get them all day for $4,000 or $5,000, and it's a more or less full-size sedan by today's standards. You can fit 4 people in it. They're one of the best handling, best braking cars probably ever for the public, for the common market. I forget which magazine it was. One of the big magazines named this the best handling car of the 90s period. Huh. So they're really a lot of fun to drive. They're incredibly well balanced.
Tell us about because I've got some video of it, and I'll put it here, of the new race car.
The new race car. I had that black coupe that I got that had a whole bunch of dyno parts on it and ground control suspension. It had, it was basically a race car, even though I was using it as a daily driver. And it broke on the racetrack. One of the ball joints went and it tore the car up pretty much beyond repair. So I just unbolted all the race car parts, and I had this. It was a sedan identical to this one, except it wasn't nearly as nice. I had a automatic sedan that I had bought for $800 and was just kind of waiting to see what it was going to be. And so I wanted to go back to the racetrack, so I just unbolted all the race car parts and bolted them onto that crappy looking blue sedan. So it looks like a total piece of junk, but underneath it's got dyno intake, it's got dyno throttle body, it's got a dyno tune. It's got ground control suspension, so it's sort of, in some ways, it's sort of a sleeper. I mean, it's obviously a race car, but I don't think it's as bad as it looks. A lot of people are surprised how quick it is, considering it looks like it just got thrown off a truck. But yeah, that's and to me the cool part is now I've got 2 more or less identical cars. One's a race car and one's a street car.
That's the dream.
Absolutely. The Corvette guys do that. It costs them $200,000. I did it for under 6.
What would you tell somebody that's looking for this vintage of E36?
Yeah, E36.
Yes, E36.
First of all, get an M3 because they're not that much more expensive. I mean, it kind of depends on what you want to spend. You can get an E36, decent E36 base models, a lot less expensive, but the M's have just got a little bit extra braking, a little bit extra handling, a little bit extra motor. You're gonna have to work on them. They've all got something wrong with them at this point. Unless you're gonna spend $10,000 or $15,000 for one, you're gonna have to fix up a little stuff here and there. Honestly, I don't think people realize this. If they're going through Craigslist and they see this car that's had like a list of stuff done to it in the last year, like, oh, there must be stuff wrong with that car. That's the car you want. If you can find one like this that somebody just went through, like this one just had a whole bunch of new bushings and stuff put in, that's the one you want. Somebody else has already got the bugs out of it. But there's 2 or 3 really good buying guides for these online. That's what I would recommend, is go look at the buying guides. And there's certain things you just always want to check. And just knowing that stuff. It's just like buying a Miata now, buying a 1st or 2nd generation Miata. I mean, everybody knows what's going to go wrong with them. So they give you a good list of stuff to check. Check all the bushings are going to be bad unless somebody's replaced them. A lot of the drivetrain components, the center support bushing, or center support bearing, and the flex disc. That stuff just goes bad. They're 20-year-old cars.
So I mean, on a scale, because when I look at something like this, I get kind of intimidated because I don't know if I would be able to work on it myself.
Yeah, that's honestly, I think that's why I've got so many of them with so little money in them, is because people are afraid of them. You know, they think BMW, oh my gosh, it's going to be hard to work on. They're no more or less hard to work on than any other car, and in some ways these are better because BMW is their engineering is such that, you know, once you get used to one of them, they do so much stuff the same from one model line to another. There's E30 stuff that's the same as the E36s. There's E46 stuff that's the same as the E36s. So once you get your hands on one of them, you kind of know the whole deal. And you know, they're very durable cars. I think that there's this mystique out there for BMW as being kind of high strung and fragile, and they're not. They run like a tractor. They're great. I just think people kind of need to get back by that idea that, you know, oh, it's a foreign car, it's a BMW. If you can work on a car, you can work on a car.